Welcome back to Hidden Hype, where the shadows hold the most electrifying stories.
In 1587, more than 100 English settlers arrived on a small island off the coast of North America. They came to build a permanent colony in the New World. But just 3 years later, the entire settlement disappeared. Homes stood empty, tools and belongings were left behind. No bodies were found, and the only clue left behind was a single word carved into wood: CROATOAN. More than 4 centuries later, the disappearance of the Roanoke Colony remains one of the most haunting mysteries in American history. During the late 1500s, England was eager to compete with Spain in the race to colonize the New World. Spain had already built a vast empire across the Americas, and English leaders feared being left behind. One of the most ambitious supporters of English exploration was Sir Walter Raleigh. Raleigh believed England could establish successful settlements along the Atlantic coast of North America. These colonies would provide valuable resources, expand England's influence, and create new opportunities for trade. In 1584, Raleigh sent explorers to survey the coastline of what is now North Carolina. They returned with promising reports about fertile land, abundant wildlife, and friendly Native American communities. Encouraged by these reports, Raleigh organized an expedition to establish England's first permanent colony in the region. The chosen location was Roanoke Island, a small island along the Outer Banks. At first, the plans seemed full of promise, but the challenges of survival in an unfamiliar land would soon test the settlers in ways they could never have imagined. In 1587, a group of approximately 115 English settlers arrived on Roanoke Island. The expedition was led by John White, an artist and mapmaker who had previously visited the region. Among the settlers were families hoping to build a new life far from the political and economic struggles of England. The colony included men, women, and children. One of the settlers was John White's daughter, Eleanor Dare. Shortly after arriving, she gave birth to a daughter. The child was named Virginia Dare, and she became the first English child born in North America. But life in the colony quickly proved difficult. The settlers faced limited supplies, unfamiliar terrain, and uncertain relationships with nearby Native American tribes. Food shortages became a growing concern. The colonists realized they needed additional supplies from England if the settlement was going to survive. Reluctantly, the settlers asked John White to return to England to gather help. John White left Roanoke later that year, planning to return quickly with food, tools, and additional settlers. But events in Europe would prevent his immediate return. England was preparing for a major conflict with Spain. When the Spanish Armada threatened the English coast, nearly every available ship was called into military service. This meant that White could not immediately organize a rescue expedition. Months turned into years. White desperately tried to secure a ship that could take him back to the colony. But the war continued to delay his plans. By the time White finally secured passage across the Atlantic, nearly 3 years had passed since he had last seen the settlers of Roanoke. In 1590, John White finally returned to Roanoke Island. But when his ship approached the settlement, something was terribly wrong. The colony appeared completely deserted. White and his crew cautiously explored the area. The houses that the settlers had built were no longer standing. Many appeared to have been dismantled. There were no signs of battle, no graves, no scattered belongings. It looked as though the colonists had simply packed up and left. Then, White discovered something carved into a wooden post. the word CROATOAN. Another carving nearby simply read CRO. CROATOAN was the name of a nearby island and the Native American tribe who lived there. White believed this might be a message left by the colonists. Perhaps they had relocated to CROATOAN Island. But before he could investigate further, a violent storm forced White's ship to leave the area. He would never return, and the settlers of Roanoke were never seen again. Over the centuries, historians have debated what might have happened to the Roanoke settlers. One of the most widely accepted theories is that the colonists integrated with nearby Native American tribes. Some historical records describe European features appearing among certain tribes in the region. Another possibility is that the settlers relocated to CROATOAN Island, where they may have lived alongside the CROATOAN people. Archaeological discoveries in the region have uncovered artifacts that suggest contact between English settlers and Native American communities. Other theories propose darker possibilities. Some historians believe the colonists may have been attacked by hostile tribes. Others suggest the settlers may have succumbed to starvation or disease. The lack of clear evidence has allowed countless theories to emerge, but the truth remains uncertain. What is clear is that the Roanoke colony disappeared without leaving behind a clear explanation. Today, the mystery of the Roanoke colony continues to fascinate historians and researchers. Archaeologists have conducted numerous excavations across the Outer Banks, searching for clues. Some discoveries suggest the settlers may have moved inland. Others hint that they may have been absorbed into local tribes. But despite centuries of investigation, the complete story of Roanoke's disappearance remains unknown. The Lost Colony stands as one of the oldest unsolved mysteries in American history, a reminder of the dangers faced by the earliest settlers of the New World, and a mystery that continues to captivate the imagination more than 400 years later.